Good. So we have another innovator with us today. So Between the White Lines is the home for tennispreneurs, innovators, private sector, solving a problem that many people around the world only have the problem. So we are delighted to have today Leslie Allen. Welcome to you. And we'll find out what you do a little bit later. But anyway, sure. Welcome. Where I see the background. Where are you today?
I'm actually in my command center is what I call it. And this was pre-COVID. I called it my command center. I had no idea I was going to be in here for 9 months straight. But nonetheless, I am in Morristown, New Jersey.
Command center, it's like a bunker, isn't it, right now?
It is, because you know what? There are no windows here. And so the day goes on and I go upstairs and it's dark. And I'm like, I've been downstairs the entire day.
Wow. Welcome. So I always start, what's the reason for Leslie's existence? What problem do you solve?
You know, the problem that I solve is helping empower people with superior life skills off the playing field, and they'll feel better about themselves, can navigate more clearly, more easily. And you know, when we feel better about ourselves, we do better off the playing field, but we also do better on the playing field too.
Oh, awesome. So I hear this from many wise people, of which you are one, is that the better the person you are off the court, the more likely you are to win on the court. Would that be true?
I would say absolutely. Absolutely. There are very few people that can be a train wreck off the court and be spectacular on the court. I really believe you have to have balance, and that is really what spurred me into all the training and Win4Life training that I do, because I felt like as athletes were getting more hyper focused on their sport and the physical aspects and even the fitness or even the mental aspects, they were falling a little bit behind in their life skill and personal development as a person, because they were so singularly focused on their performance. And I felt like that was a void. And obviously that's my passion, and that's what I do to fill that void.
And you said sport a few times. So this is sport, not just tennis?
Well, obviously my expertise comes from my pro tennis background, but what I have found and what people have asked, is this applicable to all sports? So with a few tweaks here and there, yes, but I have touched so many tennis players' lives and really kind of kept them involved in the sport just by learning all the other things that they can do.
Beautiful. Let me reframe something.
Uh-oh.
And you might go, no, Mark.
Uh-oh.
That's not right.
Let me hold on.
But listening to you hard, and from my own experience, you can see people at a young age being passionate about tennis, being sucked into the pursuit of being the best person they can be on the tennis court, and perhaps, breaking through, making money from the sport. And then for all sorts of reasons, being spat out at some time, and then realizing they got to create a life from scratch. Is that who you train, so that when they're in their pursuit, they kind of know what the pathways are and training themselves for an exit? Is that kind of what you do or not?
Well, that's one aspect, but it's a much broader spectrum, because
Wow.
If you look at the actual number of people that are able to be successful as a professional athlete, that's a small number. And then if you look at the people that really excel and do so well, they don't have to do anything else in life in their sport, that's an even smaller number. But I look at the base of all of those people, all of those young people around the world that want to be a professional athlete or play at a high level in their sport. And they give up everything. They go to academies, their families mortgage houses, they homeschool, and it's all about that. And they might not even get as far as playing in a college university setting. You see, so that's a wide swath of people. And if you have not developed your life skills as you go along, then whenever your journey stops in terms of your progression in tennis or sport, you're going to need that. And so you could potentially have a 17-year-old who has a catastrophic injury, but they've spent the last 10 years of their life learning how to hit certain shots. And now who are they? What are they? Is how they feel. So it's really, once the pivot became, whether it was parent driven, coach driven, athlete driven, you're striving to be one of the best in the world. A lot of people stop dealing with developing character, developing life skills, because sometimes it was all about that end result. And whatever somebody had to do to get there was tolerated, and sometimes bad behavior was tolerated. So over the years, because I've been lucky to be a player and work on the corporate side of the game, and as a college coach, I've seen how life skills haven't been developed and they struggle to make that transition to the quote real world, whether they are 15, 16, 21, 27. So my philosophy is, as you are developing those athletic skills, let's also develop your life skills, because if you're a successful professional athlete, you're going to need them. You're going to need to know how to do interviews like this, interact with your fans and sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. If you're a college player, you're going to need to know how to be organized for that. So the reason why I call my training Win4Life is because even though I do the training under the lens of tennis or sport, every skill they learn, they can apply for the rest of their lives. And that's what empowers them. And that's what allows them to be better on the court and then excel once they get off, because it's not suddenly a shock to their system.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So no, I get it all.
It's not just
it's
that.
A massive.
Yeah,
like
it's not
everybody,
just that
everybody should have this.
Absolutely.
Because the chances, just everybody should have this. Are there skills that they learn and train on the court that are transferable to life, that help them in life?
Well, problem solving. In tennis, you've got to problem solve, and you've got to be able to change and adjust. If it's not working, you've got to figure out a way to make it work. So we overlay that onto whatever the challenge might be. Well, let's apply those same skills. Problem solve. You need to figure this out. But what I often find out or see is that so often a parent will say, oh, I'll handle that for you. Don't worry about that. Or a coach will say, oh, I'll do that for you. So they don't get a chance, even though they do the skills on the court, they don't get a chance to apply them to their life, because everybody's just passing them along, patting them on the back because they're excelling on the court. And that's where the train wreck happens.
Yeah, I can see. So when did your Eureka moment happen? Well, tell us a little bit about you. You mentioned that you were a professional tennis.
Yeah. So
tell us, or when did this occur to you as like, oh my God, this is what I need to devote my life to?
Well, those are two different questions. So first one being how I knew the importance of it. I was not a champion tennis player. I was not a ranked tennis player. So literally, I talked my way onto tennis teams in college. So I walked into the University of Southern California as an unranked junior for college, but because they could sense through my conversation, my character, then they were willing to take a chance on me. And I had the life skills to know how to navigate and introduce myself and speak to the athletic director and all of those things. So they had that sense of me in that moment. And the tennis part, that was easy. Oh, we can improve her tennis. She has a good character. We don't have time to fix that. So if I had come in and I was, not respectful, not articulate, then I would not have been accepted. So I have seen on several instances, especially when I was on the tour and often the spokesperson for the tour and meeting sponsors and meeting fans and giving speeches in arenas, the response that I got by being articulate and knowing how to navigate. So I was lucky having had a childhood that exposed me to a lot of things. So I was comfortable Where I was most uncomfortable was actually on the court.
Okay.
And that was my biggest learn, right? So I know that from athletes that are fabulous on the court, if I can give you some skills so that you are comfortable off the court, then you're going to do even better. And so my Eureka moment, I guess, or when I really decided to be really dedicated to it, was I had a spine surgery that was 17 hours.
Wow.
Wow. So my sort of my salvo was, if I wake up from this operation, and two, if I can move my toes and walk, then I'm going to share what I know. And my adage became, what's the point of knowing what I know if I don't share? And out of that, Win4Life training was born, and that's what I began to focus on.
And how long have you been focusing on it for?
Let's see, 20 years, I believe.
Oh my goodness,
And,
Leslie.
yeah. It's had a few different iterations. The first one was me taking 5 young girls to Australia for the Australian Open and for the Kids Day. And this was post-surgery in October. Australian Open was in January. And I went down there with a leg brace and a cane and a hard turtle shell. And getting the athletes ready to go down there, the tennis part I wasn't worried about, but essentially I said, literally, y'all are not going to go down there and embarrass me. So I want you to be ready for every situation you're in, staying with families, speaking to the media. And that's where the training came from, starting right then. And now it's just gone on year after year. And so, kids still, athletes and students still reach out and say that what they learned when they were 12, 15, 17, they still apply. So that is always heartwarming.
I was just about to ask you that question, actually.
Yeah.
So give me a couple of unexpected, if you like, treats to you, having schooled so many people through.
One young woman, she was probably 12 when she started with me, and a little bit recalcitrant and not interested, because I was always pushing her out of her comfort zone. So her attitude was to be stubborn and shut down. And then she finally opened up. And by the time she went to college, she had a major of X and decided, oh my God, I hate this. And instead of panicking, she said, we always learned and experienced in Win4Life that champions adjust. So she adjusted to a new major, which she actually loved. And now, some 10 years beyond that now, she's formed her own company in that major and is doing that business. It's something digital. I don't know what it is, but but she made the pivot because she was used to champions adjust, Billie Jean's favorite quote. And then she's continued to use that. And so she said those life skills helped her, just having that mindset, not panicking. And more recently, a young man just wrote me and said he had been part of my mentorship. And he said if it had not been for the Win4Life training, he wouldn't have been able to make a great first impression in talking to college coaches. And he really learned how to tell his story in a way that would resonate with colleges and coaches. So he felt like the scholarship that he got was a direct result of his Win4Life training. And so that was heartwarming. And from the mother of that student said, she watched her child blossom and be comfortable speaking to all types of people. And that was invaluable.
Awesome.
And that he will be able to do that for the rest of his life now.
Speaking to lots of people, it seems the reason why we all do what we do is to get that type of reaction years after the event.
Yes.
So do you have a methodology? Do you have to be there in person? Do you do this distanced, online? How does it work?
I've done it several ways, and I have, like everybody with COVID, I had to pivot to do it virtually, and I found that to be as
Champions adjust, Leslie.
Yes, absolutely. That has been as effective, and it really starts with working with whatever our mission is, I'm getting ready to do a mentorship with athletes that are looking to be recruited for colleges. And so that will be all about all the things that you need to do to make that happen, and the skills you need to have, and how to develop yourself. So yes, I do it virtually, and the athletes, we work together in a group setting. And sometimes you have an individual consult with me or someone on my team. That could be a current coach, a former player, a health practitioner, whatever we're actually talking about at that moment. And I always do it with challenges. I used to call it homework, but kids don't like homework. So I call them Win4Life challenges, where they get a chance to test out, do they know how to do the skill? They have to do some research, they have to do a certain thing, and then we come back and talk about it. And some don't do it, some do, but all of it is a learning. And at the end of the day, by the end, they have learned or gained the skill or understand the importance of it. So it's a passion of mine, as if you can't tell.
Yeah. Oh, no, but aren't we blessed to be able to devote our life to our passions and get paid for it too? Because most people don't dedicate their lives to their passion. They go through work and then they kind of live. How awesome. Is the college recruiting thing immediate, soon? I mean, do people need to jump into action?
Yeah, actually, on December 17th, and I don't really know when this will air, but we will have I'll have a webinar live, and just give a little nugget, a little slice of what you can do to help your athlete be recruited by a college. This is for parents and for coaches, because the one thing that I like to do is, so many people tell us what to do. You need to be articulate. You need to speak to a coach.
Yeah.
You need to, but I really focus on, this is how you do it. This is what that sounds like. This is the first sentence you say. So I break it down. In this webinar, I am going to give parents and coaches a slice of, these are the things your athletes should be doing. So if they want to really learn from me how to do it, then they can contact me directly, and we can do that. But the webinar is December 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
So you're not just mouthing the generics, you're actually decoding or unpacking it and training it as a skill, which would be a lifetime skill.
It is a lifetime skill. Right now, it's really, in this particular mentorship, it's going to be about college recruiting, or this webinar. And that's what is the hook for the athlete, because it's something that they want to do related to their sport. I'm not saying, oh, one day you're going to be able to use this skill when you have an interview for a job. I know that. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking, I'm talking to a college coach, so I can get a college scholarship or play on a college team. So, that's what it is.
Cool. So this actually will be going out on the 16th, so there'll only be 24 hours.
Yes.
But no doubt, these types of things will be happening in any guise going forward. How do people get hold of you?
So the easiest way would be through the website, which is win4lifepro.com. And so it's the word win, the numeral 4, lifepro.com. And there'll be a pop-up on it about the webinar, that you can register for the webinar if slots are still available. And then you can also email me at info@win4lifepro.com. But just remember, it's the number, the numeral 4, not the word for, FOUR. Yeah.
See, even me with memory challenge, win4lifepro.com.
Yeah.
And I am memory challenged, so that's easy to remember.
No, you're just busy. You have a lot of things to think about.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that's lovely. Great. And the immediate future, what does 2021 look like for Leslie? Any ambitions, any things not done that you want to do?
I want to continue to do some keynote speaking that I do. I love to teach. My family calls me professor because I love to teach. They also call me professor because I'm always making a list of things I'm going to do. And when they hear me list, they're like, oh, she's not going to do any of those things. So I'm professor squared. A lot will depend on when we can get back out in the world again. But as long as I am in my bunker, in my command station, I will continue to do Win4Life training to help you know, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There are experts out here. I've got some expertise I'm willing to share.
Cool. Leslie, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
today, allowing us into your bunker.
Yeah, no, it's the command station.
The command center. I'm
Yes,
military, see, so
yes,
military will be a command bunker.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
wish you
having
great success on the 17th
Yes, I'm excited.
and for 2021 to be an amazing year for you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to spending more time with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you.